Hello everyone, Mike Starks with RE/MAX Town & Country here with the 2021 first quarter real estate market report for Fredericksburg and Gillespie County. And if I had to sum up the first quarter in one word, it would be insane. You know, we ended last year just really strong, and the beginning of this year has been even busier. So as usual, just getting to the numbers, let's start with the total dollar sales for Fredericksburg and Gillespie County for the last year. So 2020, January 1st to March 31st, we'd sold just a little over $66 million, and that was a record-setting year. This year, we've shattered that number with total sales for the county of about $122 million. So that's an increase of 45.8% in the total dollar volume over just a year ago. And the number of properties changing hands is also up about the same amount. In 2020's first quarter, we'd sold 161 properties. In 2021, that number was 264 properties that changed hands, so an increase of about 40%. And really pretty much every segment of the market saw just exponential increases. So let's take a look at in-town home sales. So that's homes within the city limits of Fredericksburg. And again, comparing previous year to this year. So in 2020, the first quarter, we'd sold a total dollar volume of just shy of $30 million. And for this year, we sold a little over $41 million. So that's a pretty big increase of 42.3% in the total volume dollars sold. And meanwhile, the number of homes sold also saw an increase. In 2020, we'd closed on 70 homes in the city limits in the first quarter. In 2021, we closed on 82 homes, so that's an increase of about 14.7%. And right now, I'd say demand is as high as it's ever been, at least in my 20 years, with competing offers becoming a lot more commonplace than they used to be. And of course, with all that demand, we're still seeing prices, climbing upwards. At the end of 2020, the average home price in town was at $457,304. At the end of the first quarter of 2021, the average price has jumped up to $502,692. And with the average price per foot climbing about the same, we went from $237.39 to $260.92 per square foot for this year. So that's about a 10% jump in prices. And as I discussed in my in-year report, if you'd watched that last year or at the end of the year, I really don't see that slowing down in the near future. And I also talk about this every time, so if you listen to my reports, you're probably tired of hearing about it. But, the Federal Reserve policy is killing us with just the trillions of dollars in relief packages and aids for this and that. It's money that did not exist before it being created out of thin air, which results in the power of your dollar just taking a huge hit. If it keeps up, who knows, a house in Fredericksburg is going to cost $1 million. A new car is going to cost you $250,000. A gallon of milk will cost you $25 in a few years. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to inflate us out of the national debt, which has never worked in history. And really the saddest part is, inflation is kind of that hidden tax that hurt folks on, who can afford it the least. I mean, it's folks on fixed incomes, that's old people, retired folks, and the poor. I mean, it really kills them. And subsequently, that's also kind of a large part of the reason real estate is on fire all over the country. Anything real, like a house or land, it will at least keep up with inflation. And that means the dollar you invest today at least will still be worth the same amount in the future. But anyway, let's move on to land sales. So here we also saw lots of activity. Total dollar sales of raw land in Gillespie County for the first quarter of 2020 had come in just shy of $19 million. And for 2021, we sold a total of about $29.5 million. So that's an increase of 36%. And the demand for smaller acreage tracts by folks just wanting out of the city really drove the total number of properties closed up by 62%, going from 30 raw land sales in 2020 up to 79 raw land sales this year. And then last year, if you remember, really the only segment of the market that was down was commercial transactions, and of course all the lockdowns and businesses, could certainly be one of the causes of that. But it looks like commercial interest is really coming back this year as well. So far for this year, we've sold about $7 million in commercial real estate for the first quarter. But you compare that to the first year of 2020, we'd only sold $780,000. So that's like a huge 90% increase. And I really see the commercial segment showing a whole lot more interest in Fredericksburg. And I really think at least the next 5 years, Fredericksburg is going to remain a very strong market. I know there's a lot to complain about, but really Fredericksburg's a great place to live. Our economy's weathered the storm better than most places. And let's face it, it's nice to be living in a place that's thriving, not barely hanging on like so many of the small towns across the U.S. So I guess God bless Texas and Fredericksburg too. As usual, you can find all the stats on my site at mikestarks.com. And thanks for watching.